Shinji Mikami. Yeah, this guy right here. You ever heard of him? You ever heard of Resident Evil? He's the creator of the series, the reason why the series is so cherished. The guy's an absolute legend. Well, he made a little third person shooter title in 2010, which is often less talked about. Is it a great game? Does it deserve a second chance? That's what we're here to talk about. Hey folks, Cop Inferno here. Let's talk about Vanquish. As is the tradition, we'll start with a bit of history. Shinji Mikami had long been part of Capcom since his early career in 1990 when he started off as a junior game designer. But his rise to prominence was definitely 1996's Resident Evil, which was the first game he helmed as a director. Post the game's success, Mikami was promoted from planner to producer. He also directed the first Dino Crisis and the 2002 GameCube exclusive remake of Resident Evil, and the holy grail of the survival horror genre, Resident Evil 4, which are, spoiler alert if you don't already know, seem to be quite decent games. God bless my awful humor. As a producer, he oversaw the development of other entries in the Resident Evil franchise like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and Resident Evil Code Veronica, sequels to Dino Crisis 2 and 3, Devil May Cry, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and Beautiful Joe, just to name a handful until his departure from Capcom in 2004. He then joined Clover Studio, which was a semi-autonomous subsidiary of Capcom. There he directed 2006's God Hand, which was a fine game for most parts. Once Clover got closed, Mikami joined Platinum Games, which was established by his former Capcom and Clover colleagues. It was at Platinum Games where Vanquish was materialized. Mikami is no longer part of Platinum Games. He's part of Tango Gameworks now, since it was acquired by ZeniMax Media on October 28, 2010, so there's a nifty little extra fact for you. In an interview with Gamasutra, Shinji Mikami stated that Vanquish's game design and graphics were partially inspired by Casshern, a 1970s anime series by Tatsunoko Production. He originally wanted to create a game just like Casshern but with the addition of guns. However, while making Vanquish a shooter, Mikami still wanted to maintain Casshern's feeling of speed, which is the reason why he introduced the sliding boost mechanic in the game. The game's development began in 2007 with a pre-rendered video trailer releasing in January 2010, and the game itself releasing on October 19, 2010 for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and on PCs after over 7 years on May 25, 2017. Ironically, Vanquish happens to be Mikami's only game under the Platinum Games brand, well, at least for now. You play as Sam Gideon, a DARPA soldier equipped with the Prototype Augmented Reaction Suit or ARS, a battle suit from the future outfitted with a lot of sizzle, like jet boosters attached to the thighs and an experimental ability to scan weapons and transforming into them, which is called the Blade system. No, not the Wesley Snipes' Blade, that's a totally different thing. Hey, remember Ryan Reynolds was in one of the movies?
No.
For those who don't know what DARPA is, it's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. That's an absolutely real thing, folks. I haven't made that up. You can Google it if you want to. So, the game has a sci-fi setting where nations are fighting with each other for scarce resources. Pretty dystopian future, aren't we aware of that? The US attempts to alleviate energy problems by launching SCO-1 Providence, a space colony that's equipped with a solar energy microwave transmitter to be used as an alternative energy source. However, the government of the Russian Federation has been overthrown in a coup by a section of the military who call themselves the Order of the Russian Star. They captured Providence and used the microwave energy transmitter to devastate San Francisco. Viktor Zaitsev, a Russian star agent and the game's main antagonist, demands the American government to surrender or he will next target New York City. The US President Elizabeth Winters then sends Lieutenant Colonel Robert Burns and Sam Gideon along with the Bravo Company, an army of space marines, to infiltrate the station. Winters gives classified orders for Sam to rescue scientist Dr. Francois Candide, who happens to be the creator of the ARS suit and a pioneer of the solar energy microwave transmission tech, who's also been kidnapped by Zaitsev. Since the suit and its tech are all experimental, with Sam being the very first human to wield it, he's chosen for the mission by DARPA, also as the perfect chance to have the suit tested. In other words, yeah, that's suicidal.
Yes, exactly.
With respect to gameplay, let's talk about the two big selling points of the game, the two big elephants in the room, the sliding mechanics and bullet time. No, the blade system is not one of those. It's a cool feature, I won't deny that, but it's just relegated to an animation when you swap between your primary weapons and shoot at the enemies. It's there, but just purely aesthetic. The sliding mechanics, however, are nothing short of revolutionary. In most shooters before Vanquish, you either had the option to walk or strafe or just outright sprint, but Vanquish replaced sprinting with jet propulsion sliding. You're the fastest thing in the game compared to anyone when sliding, so you can use it to avoid heavy gunfire in a lot of scenarios. You can also slide and shoot. Pretty nifty feature, and honestly it looks way cool. Bullet time, or augmented reaction, or AR mode as it's referred to in the game, is the second best feature in the game. It allows you to kind of freeze time to deal heavy and precise attacks on the enemies. Yeah, this feature originated in the original Max Payne, it's nothing new, but Vanquish takes it to the next step. You can dodge and aim simultaneously to activate bullet time manually, or it launches automatically if you take a lot of damage from the enemies. You do have to keep an eye on your electromagnetic engine gauge, because the more you use the energy to slide or the AR mode, the more often it depletes, with the engine itself overheating upon prolonged use, and you need to wait for the energy to replenish, or the engine to cool down before you execute another slide or go into the AR mode. Basically, this is the pray that you wish you don't get killed by an enemy mode, because when you're down on energy, you're more vulnerable to get killed, so you better find a cover or keep running at mere human speeds, avoiding gunfire and melee attacks. The game also emphasizes on cover-based shooting mechanics. It's not a run and gun like Doom, or let's just say it's not a slide and gun, because that's more appropriate. Some covers could be destroyed by either heavy gunfire or just one heavy hit from a boss, so you need to plan your attacks depending on how the enemy moves or how big of a force you're dealing with. These two features combined make the gameplay pretty fluid and fun. It's challenging for most parts. There will be instances where you'll just die and die before ultimately succeeding in a mission. You can carry 3 guns or 3 blade system weapon scans at the same time, along with 2 grenade types, the standard frag grenade and EMP emitters. EMP emitters help you most, particularly in boss battles. It slows down the approaching enemies, keeping them open for an assault from your end, since most of your enemies are robots. Speaking of weapons, there are a lot of varieties in the game. You start with an assault rifle, a heavy machine gun and a shotgun, and as you progress in the game you will find other weapons like sniper rifle, rocket launcher, LFE gun, laser cannon, disc launcher, etc. Keep in mind that the game requires you to use specific weapons in certain parts of the campaign. For example, you have a stage where you are taking your squad on a monorail and you need to destroy searchlights in your way. Otherwise, the monorail will be located and it will be bombarded with rockets. For this stage in particular, you need to use the sniper rifle to destroy the searchlights. That's your best weapon of choice. There's a pretty robust weapon upgrade system in the game. You can pick up the same weapon even if your ammo is full. What this will do is rank up your existing weapon, and as you rank up, certain attributes of your weapon get upgraded, like the ammo capacity, accuracy, firepower and blast radius. This applies to grenades as well. Ranking up could be done only when the ammo for a certain gun you're carrying is full. Picking up the same weapon when you're down on its ammo will just replenish the ammo and will have no effects on its upgrades and attributes. Weapon caches could be found at multiple locations, or you can also get weapons or grenades from your squad mates once you revive them if they're downed. Now, there's a catch to the weapon upgrade system. It can't be done on all difficulty levels, and in what might sound like a dick move from the creators to some players, your weapons might also get downgraded when you die. This happens on normal and hard difficulty levels. The active weapon is downgraded by one level upon death, while the hardest difficulty level, God Hard, prohibits upgrades altogether. Another way of saying good luck to players. Also, if you want to replay a certain level of the game midway instead of continuing with the campaign, you won't carry weapon upgrades which you had back when you were originally playing that level. You will start with your standard weapons in their standard form. I happened to face this firsthand because I had an issue with one of my captures and had to replay that level with all my maxed out weapons gone. Boss battles are aplenty in the game. You'll find a lot of boss variations throughout. Main bosses like Argus robots, the Unknown, Bogies, and of course Zaitsev, to mini bosses like tanks, jellyfish, and Romanovs. You'll find some neat Easter eggs in the game, like your NPC squad mates being named after some of the developers, either Shinji Mikami or the uniquely designed endgame credits, which is like a rail shooter with pictures of the developers on the asteroids. You also have hidden collectibles called the Panaglaw statues scattered all over a level, which you need to shoot at in order to, kind of collect them. You can find 4 such statues in each mission, and if you collect all of them, you get to unlock an achievement called the Best of All Possible Worlds. When the game was released in 2010, it was praised by almost everyone and was nominated and also won a lot of game awards in various categories.
And the best game no one played is Vanquish.
Yeah, this one's a bit unfortunate though. The biggest issue with this game probably is its short runtime. By the time you start getting the hang of the mechanics, the game will just end. The cover mechanics are also sometimes a hit or miss too. I found myself struggling to cover myself over certain objects a lot of times. Also the voice acting. No one wanted another Jill Sandwich debacle, and thankfully it's not that bad, but it still isn't that great.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill Sandwich.
You're right.
We can't bust a hole in anything until we clear the area of these damn robots, sir! I'm on pest control.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Aiming and shooting mechanics while in bullet time could sometimes act broken too. The crosshairs show that the enemy could very well be targeted and shot at, but once you actually start shooting, all your bullets hit the surrounding objects. You just need to change your strategy in these situations. This might be more or less because of the field of vision, I believe, but it's there. Frame rates could also be a bit choppy at times, but ironically, it's not in the actual gameplay. The frame rates drop during some cutscenes, particularly those involving Elena. Other than the few issues that I've specified, I don't think there's much to dislike about this game. It's a solid shooter with some unique features which not many games have been able to duplicate. It's available on Steam for Rs 665 or $19.99 US as a standalone game, or you can also get it bundled with Bayonetta for Rs 11.96 or $35.98 US. For PS4 and Xbox One, it's available in their respective marketplaces for just over Rs 1400 or $24.99 US. Either ways, this game is worth playing if you haven't played yet. If you already have, please feel free to replay it, it's totally worth it. If you want to follow some of the latest works of Platinum Games or Shinji Mikami, go check out Astral Chain or The Wonderful 101 Remastered or The Evil Within 2. Or keep an eye on Bayonetta 3 or Ghostwire Tokyo as we inch closer to the next generation. That's it for this episode of Let's Revisit. I'll be back with another episode later. If you liked what you've seen, please consider to like, share, subscribe and get notified when I publish a new video. While you're there, let me know in the comments which game you want me to revisit for an upcoming video. Thank you for watching. Here's Copy Inferno, signing off.